let's talk about Dre, since you brought him up. With getting with him, exactly when and how did that happen?
I had a good friend of mine named Dave Jaquette. Shout out to Dave, party man. So he, like LA is, so I'm a DJ at Paradise. Remember I was at radio, right? Mm-hmm. I told you who was in that crowd. So I moved on to Paradise. Paradise got Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, all the NBA, it was 1,500 people every Thursday, top echelon celebrities. I'm still DJing for them dudes. I'm still the guy for myself, you know what I mean? They come to see me.
Right.
You know, no ice now, it's just me. Mm-hmm. So I'm DJing. I used to play from 12 to 2. I'd close it out. Every time I play the last song, everybody's like, oh, I'd let the air out the building. It was great. So from doing all of those things, and my friend Dave, N.W.A had come out, but they can't come in. So I'm in an upscale club. You gotta wear suits and stuff. They wearing them hats. They never taking them hats off, so they can't get in Paradise. And it's the happening, so they want to go. So my boy Dave, I'm telling him he knows I do music because I done the Ice-T thing. Notice I did Ice and nobody else. And then I started working with Dre years later because I wasn't really into rap at all. Everybody doing R&B was making 10 times the money. Like a rap deal was $125,000. A record deal was like $500,000. You get like $200,000 for you.
Right.
I go make a entire rap record and have money left over. So I was like, So I'm scratching. I'm playing these clubs, and I'm working with Quincy Jones, Bobby Brown, through Lil Silas Jr., all those records on MCA, all those records on Polydor. I meet Ed Eckstein. I'm in, but I'm not a producer. I'm a DJ.
Right.
So I'm just a performer. I'm in all these studios. My first foray through the studio was as the creator of the music for the score. My second foray was as a performer DJ for Quincy and all these people, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not a producer. I'm in these studios, I ain't never seen nothing like it. I did that one record, right? Mm-hmm. And I did the movie thing. But I go in these big-ass SSL rooms and I'm stunned.
Right.
Like, oh, I really want to do this. You know, you see the pictures of the big board. I saw. So, from there, I was like, I want to do all of these things, man, Dave. I need to meet somebody that's doing it. So he went and met Dre and brought him to my house.
Wow.
I met Dre in my driveway. I was taking the trash out.
Okay.
Dave, I seen him whip around in a convertible vet. It's like, what the hell? Dre driving. He had N.W.A, they #1. He could pull up in my driveway. What's up? I'm like, damn. And then my man Dave tells me, because Dave had been hanging with them. And I was like, you hanging with those N.W.A guys? What are they like? It's really I'm from the West Side. I got bussed over. I'm basically a black-white kid, right? I'm like, is Compton like that? I got cousins live in Carson. Okay. We drive through Compton. It's like the good suburb, you know what I mean? So, Compton, we don't go there. Like, that's why the thing was, when they came out and said straight out of Compton, it was like, they're coming out?
Right.
Dude, it was so brilliant. So Dave brings Dre over. I meet him. He says, hey, I'm like, I'm a producer. I'm like, I'm not stuck, but I'm kind of stuck. Like, I'm taking the trash out. It's like, dude, yeah, I'm a producer, but I'm like what I am, and was weird at the time.
Okay.
Producer, engineer, okay keyboardist, but I do this part, the board. That's the axe. Like, I can make anything with this SSL. I don't even need instruments. So I do that now, right? So he was like, well, I'm looking for somebody who can, like, kind of get everything started for me, be there, like me, be a me. I'm looking for another me, but so I can just walk in and make sure my stuff is tight or get an idea going for me, a collaborator. I said, that's me. I'm your guy. I'll collaborate with you. I had never worked with another producer.
Okay.
And I had just started from DJing and all of that. I started writing songs. And so I played the music that I was working on for him, and that's when he said that. I had a group called Poor Broken Lonely that I was working on. And so we had like 10 songs we were developing, and he loved it. So he signed me as a producer for Ruthless, and then he signed my group also to Ruthless. We was the only R&B group signed to Ruthless. So that's when he started working on 100 Miles and Running. And the thing was, my boy Dave gave these Wet and Wild parties. Me and Dave gave those 2 parties for Eazy and Dre. We put those parties on with them, but I DJ'd and there I got video.
I'm sure you do.
But yeah, that's how I met Dre, in my driveway.
So then, the other interesting thing about working with Dre, and you still do, is that you met Dre in the 80s and still are working with him now. So you do so many different things, and obviously Dre does as well. How has your role or your work with Dre evolved? Because some songs I know you mix, some songs you co-produce, some songs you produce, and
Some
you've
songs I
done
play
that.
instruments on.
Yeah. So how and why did your work and collaborations with Dre evolve and grow so much over the years?
I like to consider Dre Captain Kirk and I'm Spock, right? I like to be Spock. Everybody wants to be Dre. I don't want to be Dre. So when we first started, he was using me like a Swiss Army knife, trying to find out what I could do. I see how he does that too. And when he would flick one of them out, I didn't know I had that blade. Like he'd be like, play the bass here. Play the bass? I can't play on beat that long. Like this dude, I didn't do that. He said, play it. I play it because I like to get the sound. I get the sound, I play it. We'll record till you go off beat, and then we'll just punch you. He would relax me, and great production, right? So I played on like the Dre Day remix, you know, where Parliament, the bass line changes to the other part. I saw, whoa, 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 that's me. So that's why he says on Puffin' on Blunts, I do glove on the funky ass bass line, because on that other song we did them all. We did Dre Day remix, Puffin' on Blunts, and Doggy Dog World the same 2 days.
Wow.
Right. So really one day and one day we mixed.
Okay.
So it evolved from first me being a producer on my own project, right? He came in.
And that was
where I was working. Yep, that's
Okay.
what he signed me for. Because see, I figured it out. He put me in the training room. Here's some money. Go, let me hear your music. So I was doing what I knew how to do, and I had a little more money, so I could bring in a little spice. I got, you know, Ernie Isley to play guitar on some stuff.
That helps.
Yeah, I got, you know, blah, blah, blah. We'll link with him. I got Michel'le on a song, and I got, you know, him on the intro and like 3 songs. So I got Dr. Dre, Michel'le, Ernie Isley on my debut record.
Right.
So I'm feeling like, hey, I'm doing something. And he's hearing the music and, oh, you should do this, we're gonna do that, and he's helping, right? Mostly, he knows how to really tweak stuff, like, for that. This Dre is multiple fast figures too, like a Swiss Army knife. So
I've seen it
he
on
was
a much smaller scale, but I've seen it.
Yeah,
myself.
so he was producer Swiss Army at this moment, right? He's helping me develop my style.
Right.
So he's giving me money to do my things, and I'm doing them. And then they got another R&B group, we're writing songs. So he's like, okay, this guy can do these things. So he'll take me. He was working, Dre, actually what happened was he was working at Audio Achievements at that time. And he came over to see me, and I was mixing some at Can-Am. Oh, actually, this is what I did. I was working on my stuff over here off of Pico and Robertson in a little spot. We had the fire station. Shout out to my boy Jeff Goodman. He was the owner. And I would mix my songs. So I was mixing, when I did Reckless, I learned about Can-Am.
Okay.
So I went to Can-Am, and they had this room like this, where the board was like almost a circle, half circle, right? I was in there. Dre came in and was like, oh, this is like being in a jet. And he didn't know, I had worked at Sunrise. I knew all the studios because I was doing all the DJing. That's where I learned that. So I said, man, come on, you never been? Nah. I said, man, let me tell you about automation. So I started telling him about the board and talking about SSL. He loved it off the top. He already knew how to turn the EQ. They look different at Audio Achievement. It was the same thing. That dude took to that board like a fish to water. He ran a Can-Am for like 4 years or something for Death Row.
No, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, oh man. So, from there, now I'm going into work. We've been doing some stuff, and he's seen me working. So now he worked with another group. I didn't really, Justin and Colin and those guys, I was me doing all of my stuff. Like Dre was in 2 places.
Right.
So then he said, come on, I want you to do some stuff on my, we left Ruthless and we were working on this Chronic record. So that's when I started working with him on the Chronic. He would have me play whatever it was, play this part, or he told me, I want you to produce this track for me. I want you to take this part, and this part, go make the track and bring it back. It was Stranded on Death Row.
Pretty good song.
Right? That's the
Pretty good
first song I produced with Dre. He told me what to do. I went and did it. I brought it back, and then we finished it up at the organ on the front and went through the groove, right? So I was like, wow, I produced a song with somebody like else.
Well, before we get too deep into all of that, since you brought it up, the thing that I've always found that was phenomenal about rap production when it does have the live instrumentation, and I really noticed this, at least for me, I noticed it the most with what Larry Smith did, primarily with Houdini, with when you add the actual music to it, the live music, the musicianship, the organs, the keyboards, the guitar, the bass, whatever it is, the drums even, and Dre did that on Ruthless, of course, as well. It just adds extra dimensions.
Layers, yeah.
So for you, like doing songs on the Chronic or other things that you've done with Dre in particular, what have you noticed that those extra wrinkles make those songs legendary?
Oh man, you know, it's funny because legendary songs are different from what you're saying.
Okay.
What you're saying is sonically excellent sounding songs that become legendary, some
Yes.
of them. So we got some people don't really consider legendary, but they're part of our legendary work, so they let it go, but they don't really like this one as much as that one, like Little Ghetto Boy or Let Me Ride, you know what I mean? Let Me Ride won a Grammy, so, you know, it's like, So the thing that I've noticed, like today, is the way we produce, and I noticed that it's a style, and I don't think anybody else does it but me and Dre. I've been working in one of Dre's studios for like the past 3 weeks, and the engineers there are like, I train his engineers, and I didn't realize, like I always tell them, okay, you got to do this, you got to be that, now you got to be faster, because dude ain't gonna have no patience. You gonna, hey man, you know, he got money, bro, he gonna break out on you, you know, get faster. And so during that, I go to Dre, so I'm working my session 12 hours. Dre like, what you doing? Oh, I'm just, you know, I'm chilling. Pull up, let's work. So I go to that studio for 6 more hours, right? The engineer I got working with me becomes the second at his session. So we all go up there, right? And that guy, the second, he's looking at Dre work, and he was like, dude, I just left this. Like, you guys work exactly the same. Because we write, so we made records to tape. We don't do sequencing. We don't use sequencers. We use drum machines. You put a drum beat, that's it. You don't put the keys and the sample and all that unless you have to. Then you get because we had drum machines and samplers too. So we put samples in samplers, guys. So drum machine, if you really just use it for drums, you're gonna be amazed. I just gave you a secret. Not everything, just drums. Try it. Drum machine. So we would do that, right? We make the beat to tape. Then we get the musicians. Play this record. Play this. Not like that. This is one thing that I know we do. Musicians that play funk, everybody got their own feel. We used to have to take that out and make you play this to our feel. And so we'll tell them the bass line. They just play it. We'll tell them the guitar part. That was sung and then played. Like we write, so we do. That's how you write a song. That's not a musical accompaniment. I told that guy what to play. He didn't write it. He just played it.
Of course.
You get paid to play the guitar. Don't tell me you wrote that.
He's a session musician.
But if that session musician says, how about this?
Now he's writing.
You just wrote that part. I can't come up with that. Here's your, you know, you're now part of this. Yeah. That's the only way. Don't come play on my session and tell me you're going to be a writer when I just told you what to play. Sure. Okay, let me hear what you wrote. And then play the part I sung to you. Okay, so anyway, the layers that Dre does now, you take a piece of music, you lay it in the Pro Tools. You take another piece, you lay it in the Pro Tools is like a canvas, a painting canvas. We lay it in there. Music, sounds, and see, we got other things I tell you off camera that we do that nobody needs to know that really lend to that. But the point is, where it was just me doing all these parts, or maybe Emmanuel Dean came in and worked on like What's My Name and all of that, Gin and Juice. Now there's like assassins for each part. You got his boy, you got Dim Joints, Fred Wreck, folks, you got these cats. Trevor Lawrence, drummer. We make break beats. We don't borrow break beats. We don't take other people's. We make better break beats than they ever had because we heard those, and we got better equipment. Like the kids nowadays talk about how dope they are because they got, we're online and we can make so much more money. I'm like, you guys are dumb. You guys are diluting that money. When we was making music, we made money. y'all ain't making money like this. Y'all are making this stream income out of it. Thin air come up and think you're making a lot of money. But you ain't making people money. It's one institution. When we used to sell records, trucks, trains, planes, people at the record store.
Warehouses.
That's an industry.
Right.
Ain't no more music industry. It's a music business now. See? So, anyway, the thing about the layers is each one of those of the Switch Army knife blades became a super producer on his Army knife. His layers, I'm one of the blades. Got a homie, other homies. Bro, that is, when you see it and hear the music.
I've seen it in person.
You got a drummer doing the drums.
Yeah.
You got a hip hop dude, DJ, doing the hip hop DJ part.
It's like a symphony.
Man.
It really is.
Oh my God. And that's the growth that I saw.
Okay. And then, obviously with the Chronic, you did the work on that. With Dre Day on the extended mix that you did for that, because that was in the era when obviously the Chronic was a watershed moment and changed not only rap, but I would argue music in general. It changed how things were done. So with that mix in particular, to me, that was among the era of the last of those types of things, really. So why do you think those things faded away a little bit?
So like the era of the last, think of this. The Chronic was the first and last. There was no other one like that. That's why it's in the Library of Congress by itself. Now he got 2 albums in there. As N.W.A, of course, that was a cultural, like you say, watershed moment on steroids. Like, Oh my God, they saying niggas in their name. You know what I mean? Oh, and they like it. Oh, what the hell's going on? So, but it's just the whole thing with Dre and music and the whole culture of what we do. It's just being able to go in, like for instance, Spin Magazine said we changed sound. They said it was, and they call it BC, before the Chronic.
Okay.
And AC after the Chronic. That's when the music started. Cats took care and made their music sound better. Because that's all we try to do is make it like the guys before us. So I feel like being able to be with someone like that and be able to grow through all these eras and be 58 and making hotter music than these. I mean, what do you think? This is Kung Fu, bro. I don't know why they try to sell us out. Old guys. Nobody knows how old Yoda is, right? No. They always asking him questions, though.
Yes.
And he always got answers.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking about with Ice-T and yourself, with Dr. Dre. I mean, look at someone like LL, who you've worked with as well. I mean, these guys, and yourself included, have lasted this long for a reason, because you know what you're doing.
It's ours.
And you created it and helped create it, as did all the rest of them I just mentioned, as well as others.
You too. It's ours.
Well, thank you.
We do this.
Yeah.
You're going to do it forever. You ain't going to stop.
And that's the power of it. And I think the importance of realizing that and why it's so significant is that it doesn't fade away when you do it the right way.
And to answer your question, so the Chronic, those other records that we love from that era, you know why you don't hear that? We stopped making it. It's like we put it on the shelf and started making other stuff.
Well,
and now I'm making that again. Wait till you hear the new stuff.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with N.W.A.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
There's always gonna be shit happening in the street. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The history of gangster rap in stores now.